Hi friends, I'm Parvez and welcome to my third video on Amazon Web Services. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about IAM and also IAM users. Now, I already have talked about this in the first videos, but in this video, we want to learn this in details, okay? So, now first of all, what is IAM? Now, it stands for AWS Identity and Access Management, and AWS Identity and Access Management, or IAM, provides a fine-grained access control across all of AWS resources. With IAM, you can specify who can access which services and resources and under which conditions with IAM policies. You manage permissions to your workforce and systems to ensure least privilege permissions. Now, when you create an AWS account, you create an AWS account root user identity. So you can see in here we have root user and also we have IAM user. Okay, so by the first time when you create your AWS account, then you create an account root user identity, which you use to sign in into your AWS account. You can sign in into the AWS Management Console using this root user identity. That's the email address and password that you provided when creating the account. This combination of your email address and password, also called your root user credentials. When you use your root user credentials, you have complete unrestricted access to all resources in your AWS account, including access to your billing information and the ability to change your password. Now, this level of access is necessary when you first set up your account. So after that, we have IAM user. So we have root user and also we have IAM user. Now, an IAM user is an entity that you create in AWS. So the IAM user represents the person or service who uses the IAM user to interact with AWS. A primary user for IAM users is to give people the ability to sign into AWS Management Console for interactive tasks and to make programmatic requests to AWS services using the API or CLI. Also, a user in the AWS consists of a name, a password to sign in into the AWS Management Console, and also up to 2 access keys and can be used with the API or CLI calls. So we already talked about the programmatic access and how we can create, for example, secret key, or for example, how we can create our access keys. Okay. So now, first let me just I already have created my account. Now I need to just sign in as a root user. After that, I will create an IAM user. So now let me just give my root user email address and also password. So now I'm in my account. Let me just click on IAM. So now I want to just create my IAM user. And I already have created, I already have talked about creating of the IAM user in the first video. So now from here I can just go to the users, and right now you can see I have 2 users. Let's just click on add user, and from the add user, now I want to create my user. So let me just say test, for example. Now we already have talked about the programmatic access and also AWS Management Console. So for example, if you use this, it enables an access key and also secret key for the AWS API or CLI or SDK you can use. Or for example, if you're using this, then you will be able to for example, log in through the AWS Management Console. Okay, also you can use both of them, but for right now I'm going to just use this AWS Management Console, and I want to use it like this. Okay, I don't want to use programmatic access. After that, we can just so in here you need to just create a password. Let me just say auto generated. Click on next. So now in here you need to just create your policy. Now IAM users are identities in the service. When you create an IAM user, they can't access anything in your account until you give them permissions. So you give permissions to user by creating an identity-based policy, which is a policy that is attached to the user or a group to which the user belongs. Okay, so you can see that there are different policies that you can use. So administrator full access policy, or for example, I want to just that this user should just access to the, for example, DynamoDB, and DynamoDB full access. I can just click on this, click on next, and next review, and create user. Okay, so now the user is created. So let's just wait. So now I have this user. This is my password, and let me just copy this password. So I have copied the password. After that also I need this. Let me just copy this and let me paste that in here. So I don't want to save. Now let me just log out from this root user, sign out. So now in here, now I want to use as a IAM user, so they are users that I have created. So this is the user ID. I can just copy that, and so this should be the user ID, and I can paste it in here, click on next. And now this is my username, and also I need to just add my password, and I can paste it in here, click on sign in. So now first we need to just change the password. I can just make this to like this. So first I need to just give the old password, and after that I need to just give the new password. So I can just copy this and I can paste it in here, and click on confirm password change. So for the first time, because there is a policy, that password change policy for the users, for the IAM users, by this reason, in the first time you will need to change that. You can disable that, you can remove that and detach that policy if you don't want. So right now you can see that we have this user. Now this user, just as I've already said, that this user just can access to the DynamoDB. Now this user doesn't have any full administrator access policy. So now if I go to the, for example, services, if I go to the so DynamoDB and DynamoDB, now this user will be able to create, for example, MySQL DB instances, Postgres DB instances. This user can, but for the other services this user cannot. Okay, so it can create the DynamoDB. But if I go to, for example, a service that is that's not, that this user doesn't have the permission, he will not be able. For example, if I go to Amazon S3, and because we don't have any attached policy for the Amazon S3, we have just DynamoDB policy, and this time this user will not be able to access the S3. Okay, so now if I go here, and okay, so you can see you don't have permission to list buckets because we don't have any policy for this, but we have just DynamoDB full access policy, and this user will be able to create MySQL or Postgres DB instances. Now, for example, if you give a full administrator access, then on that time this user will be able to, for example, to access all the AWS resources. And now we have this user, and let me just log in back to my root user. So now back I am in the IAM users, I can just go to the users. So this was the new user that I have created, and let me just click on this. Also, you can attach, for example, multiple policies. So you can see this is the permission. And if you see in here, we have Amazon DynamoDB full access policy. You can delete this if you want. You can just delete that from here, or you can also add another permission from here. Okay, so for example, you can just click on add permissions and attach existing policy. For example, also I want to just give the S3 policy, Amazon S3 full access policy, and click on next and add permission. So now this is added, and now you can see we have two permissions. Now if I log in through this user will be able to access the DynamoDB, and also this user will be able to access the Amazon S3. Okay, so now like this you can just create a user, and also you can just attach policy to that user. Also you can see that we have the user ARN. So for example, when you want to log in through this user, then you need this a user ID. This is the username, and these are the permissions. Now we don't have any group for this user. We will talk about the group. This is the tags. We don't have any tag, and also you have security credentials. Now we will talk about this in the next video. So, but let me just talk that about this in here. So if you remember that this user, we have created this user, but we have just created this user for the AWS Management Console login, and we haven't added the programmatic access to this. And you can see that the console password, it's enabled, but for the access key, we don't have any access key for this user. For example, if you want to create an access key, you can just click on create access key, and from here, so you can see that the access key is created, and now that's added. Okay, now this user will be able to log in through the AWS Management Console. Also, this user will be able for the programmatic access of the AWS resources.